would say that probably for society as a whole, advertising cheap divorces is not really the way to go. Hey guys, welcome back to another Girl Gone London video. My name is Kaylin. I'm a UK, what am I? I don't remember. I'm a dual UK and American citizen, that's it. And today I'm doing another things I would change about America after living in the UK video, which you guys seem to enjoy. And yes, when I visit America, there are things that I can find that I would change that I didn't realize were kind of weird until I moved to the UK. So I wrote down 7 more things. Some are very important, some are not very important, but let's get started. All right, number 1 is there are a lot of billboards, sometimes small signs, sometimes giant billboards, advertising divorce lawyers in the US, often just advertising divorce and how cheaply you can do it. I will put up some images here in case you think I'm lying. This doesn't seem like that weird of a concept when you're in America, but like many things, you don't realize things are strange until you leave somewhere or experience somewhere different. And I would say that probably for society as a whole, advertising cheap divorces is not really the way to go. I mean, you're arguing with your spouse driving along the highway and you see a sign for $90 divorces with the phone number. Do we need to tempt people like that? I feel like we don't. I feel like it's strange, and maybe this, you know, I should do a whole video about UK versus US divorce. Like, would that be really sad? I'd find it interesting. But yeah, I think we should not advertise divorce so much in the US, and particularly not advertise how easy and cheap it is to do. I feel like that's just common sense. The next thing on my list, things I would change in the US after living in the UK, are American shower taps. Here's examples of them. Again, these might exist in some specific places in the UK, but often UK ones look like this. American ones, I literally cannot figure out what to do with it half the time. Like, you have to spend so much time, you figure out your own obviously, but say you go to a hotel or a friend's house to be a guest in their home. You can never figure out which way to turn it. You can never figure out if you're supposed to pull on something, if you're supposed to push on something. It's like there's no standardization of what is supposed to happen. If you do go and stay with somebody or go to a hotel or something, like, don't get undressed before you figure this thing out, because I swear to you, half the time you're gonna need to call someone into the room to be like, please, can you just show me how this works? And so you'll just save yourself the time. So go in, make sure you understand how to work the shower, and then have a shower. It just, like, sometimes it requires a PhD to figure out how to get the temperature and the pressure and the shower on all working with this contraption. So I would make it a bit more standardized, a bit more easy to use. I'm gonna get so many Americans commenting on this video being like, this girl is so dumb, she doesn't know how to work a shower. And that's possibly true, but also I feel like it's just, I've spent a lot of time, you guys, trying to figure out how to make different ones work. It's never the same. It's always the opposite from what you expect. And I just want a little bit more standardization. The next thing I would change about America is American domestic airline prices. It is often cheaper to fly international, to fly from America to the UK, often cheaper for me than if I were to fly to certain places within the US. I'm not saying we don't have cheap deals. We do. We have our own sketchy airlines that you kind of fear for your safety on, but probably shouldn't, but the branding is so cheap. You know, Spirit Airlines, this one's for you. Like, you can get cheap deals. However, it's still much more expensive to travel domestically on airlines in America than you might expect. Again, I've had places I want to go, friends I want to see, and I could just as easily pay for them to come here to the UK for the same price as it would be for me to fly to my American hometown and then fly within the States to see them. We just have higher domestic air prices, which is partly why I feel like a lot of Americans love a road trip. And it's, yeah, totally kind of different expectations of how much these things should cost. I can get from London to so many places and to Europe so much cheaper usually than traveling domestically within the US. The next thing on my list is one that everybody brings up, but I was in America recently and I just did feel like I have to add my own take on this, and that is a bathroom stall in a public bathroom in the US. Genuinely, you don't think about it until you move to another country, but the gap in between the floor and the door, and also the sides of the doors, is insane. I am using the bathroom in an American airport and I'm like, what? Does this need to be a group experience? Because I feel like it is. Half the time you are in the bathroom with the door closed and somebody else's like this is especially in an airport, like somebody else's bag can, like, they accidentally kick it like over to you and you can see it, or you can see like people can walk past and you can make out the whole person, but you're supposed to be in the bathroom stall. And you go to the UK and you're like, oh my God, we can actually put the door all the way to the floor in a bathroom, which I feel like is a place that we should all have our individual space. It's just, it's bizarre and I don't like it. And I think they should change it. They're not going to. And again, I know this is one people do mention a lot, so I'm kind of like joining the crowd here, but having gone to America again recently, it is insane. It's really, I don't need to see that much of other people when I'm in the bathroom. And also, there have been times, like if you have a young child in a bathroom, I swear to you, this has happened. This definitely happens. Americans will have stories of this happening. Like, kids get curious. And I'm talking about like, you know, a young kid. I'm not talking about like a 7-year-old, but you know, little kids that are in the bathroom with their parents. Sometimes they like to put their head underneath the gaps in the doors to see what's going on. I'm not joking. And before the parent can grab them, like it's not a good situation for anybody. Okay, next on my list is a very important matter, and that is Oreos. Now, I'm not talking about the specific type of Oreos because America does have quite a few different types of Oreos. I'm a fan of that. I love an Oreo. However, this is kind of a controversial opinion, probably, but we don't really do single sleeve Oreos like they do in the UK. So in the UK, if you're going to the store and you're buying Oreos, often it will look like this. If you're going to America and you're buying Oreos, it could be like a small snack pack, which is like very small, or it's probably gonna look like this, and it's gonna have 3 different sleeves within one package. I love that for how many Oreos it gives me. However, here's what I'm thinking. A single sleeve of Oreos needs to be an option in America. It's easier to transport. If I'm going on the train or if I'm going in my car and I want to pack snacks, because I'm an American, packing an entire thing of an American pack of Oreos just looks greedy and is kind of like, it takes up a lot of space. A single sleeve of Oreos, it's much easier to transport and it leaves room for other snack options in my backpack. So I do feel like America should not get rid of our 3-prong, 3-sleeve Oreo containers, but I think we should embrace the single sleeve as an option for snack packing. Another thing I would change about the US after living in the UK is I wrote down here on my list, I wrote, America has lots of chain link fences, and then I wrote a dash and I just wrote, let's not have so many ugly fences. We have a lot of ugly fences in the US. It's cheap, I guess, and America is often built on cheap, and we just have less like existing structures from the past, and we're always building and changing and whatever. But a chain link fence, it doesn't look good. It looks scary. It looks like it's not pretty. And yes, there are chain link fences in the UK, of course, but I don't see them as much as I see them in America. It just looks kind of like you're in a prison. So I think we should save chain link for prisons and we should change the types of fences in America. America also does a beautiful white picket fence. Like, we do a really good looking fence and we do a really ugly looking fence. We always do extremes. We can never find the middle. So I think we need to find the middle when it comes to American fences. And the last thing on my list has to do with US ready meals. This is based on my own experience and listening to others. I have no official research or statistics on this matter, but US ready meals, or like pre-packaged meals or frozen meals, are not as good as UK frozen meals, which you think would not be the case, because you would think that Americans like the convenience and like frozen meals, and we do, but it's just, they're not as good as the ones available in the UK. The quality of the food isn't as good. And I'm not like saying that the quality of UK frozen food meals is amazing, but the UK definitely comes above the US when it comes to this. I did think maybe it comes down to Americans' love for fast food. So we're getting fast food instead of the frozen meals, so we don't care as much if the frozen meals aren't very good. But again, I don't entirely know the reason. I just know that UK ready meals are way better than US ready meals, and so I feel like the US needs to get on the UK's level where that is concerned. And that brings me to the end of this video. Some things you might not have known about the US, and things I think that we probably should change after years of living in the UK. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.